America's new normal is living in your car, and more Americans are living in their car than ever before. And this is some of it has to do with rent costs more than the car you're sleeping in. And in this video, we're going to go over data. We're going to go over some of these people that are actually living in the cars. They're going to show us. And yeah, it is kind of crazy when you're thinking about it. And everybody's just one step away of actually living in your car in the US. And let's go over some of the data. So, HUD made a study from 2024 to 2025, and there are 653,000 homeless Americans, highest ever since they began tracking, up 12% in 1 year, fastest spike in records. A growing share of these people actually have jobs. They just can't afford to live, or they can't afford to rent because rents are so out of control. And the fastest city that this is happening in, you've heard them all over the news: Los Angeles, Phoenix, Portland, Denver, Las Vegas. And they're showing reports of 20 to 45% of people living in their cars, vans, and RVs. So even cities are saying we have nowhere to house them. The parking lots have waiting lines. Rents are officially disconnected from wages. So you're seeing it that the average US rent is $2,050. The median pre-tax weekly wage is $1,100 to $4,500 before taxes. So after taxes, your gross take-home pay for the month is $3,000. Rent now consumes 62% of take-home pay. Like, economists say that the rent becomes unaffordable at 30% that, and we're at double. So you're seeing it. It is a disaster waiting to happen. And in my videos and in my comment section, I always tell people, in my comment section, people always say everybody's just one disaster away, one injury, one car accident of you being in tragedy. And owning a car outright usually costs $0 in payment, but the insurance $100 to $200 a month. Gas, depending on where you can stay at night, costs anywhere from $150 to $250, compared to rent, where rent goes anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000. Security deposits another $2,000 to $4,000, and then moving costs that equals to impossibility for so many millions of Americans, because it is just not affordable. When you're making that kind of payments and you're actually two people, you still cannot technically afford it because rent is so expensive in some cities. And now we're going to add car loan delinquencies are rising. And I've had other people on my channel that said, I moved to another state because of an opportunity that I got, and then I tried to check into my apartment and they wouldn't allow me. There was something wrong with the application. So before I even got into my apartment, they denied me, and now I'm actually sleeping in front of the place that I work at. So this is crazy, and the car loan crisis just continues. 90 days delinquencies up 5%, highest since 2009. Subprime is 60 plus days delinquent at 6.6%, higher ever recorded. And yet people are paying car loans before rent. Why? Because if you lose your car, you lose your job, you're losing childcare, you're losing school access, you're losing survival. A car in the US is so important. And I cannot stress this enough for people in Europe. When you're looking at, I'm at a park here, and you can see there's no bus, there's not a lot of public transit. So how do you get here? You have to drive. And in the US, you drop your kids off at school. Sometimes the school bus doesn't pick them up right around the corner, so you gotta drive. And if you like content like this, you want to stay up to trends, please give me a like and subscribe. That would really help out my channel. And so let's watch these two young adults basically getting woken up by a cop while they actually have a full-time gig.
My wife and I have been living in our car for 50 days now, and this morning we got woken up by a cop knocking on our window.
Hi there. Hi. Are you sleeping in this thing, or what's going on?
Yeah, we live in it.
Is there a reason you guys are...
We're just saving up as much money as we can.
Okay. Well, it was all covered up and stuff, so I'm like,
Yeah.
making sure you guys are actually hot in there, though?
No, it's honestly cozy.
Okay. Well, as long as you guys are okay, I just want to make sure nobody's in your debt.
Yeah.
So that's the main thing.
Yeah.
So, run out of money or something? Or
We're just kind of struggling for a while to save up. And then we're just like, well, we'll be able to save like crazy if we just do this.
It's definitely crazy.
That's your journey.
But,
That's your journey.
yeah.
And everybody has their own journey. So
Yeah.
as long as you guys are okay and you got what you need. All right, I'll leave you alone.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to make sure nobody's in your debt.
No, you're good. Thank you.
I wasn't sure what to expect when I opened the door, but he seemed to have no problem with us sleeping in our car. He just wanted to make sure nothing was wrong, and he just let us go on with the rest of our day.
So you're seeing it, those two people, they got both full-time jobs. I looked at their content a little bit and they're just like, hey, we just got to live in our cars. I'm trying to get into a house. I'm trying to do better. But at the moment, it is just not feasible. And so these are not the only people. There are so many more that you would never, ever think. If you met them on a date, you met them in real life, you would never know that these people are living in their car. But it is becoming a new normal. That's why I always tell people, don't judge a book by its cover.
Okay, it's day 4 of me living in my Honda Civic, so come spend the morning with me. Okay, rise and shine, guys. Kind of woke up at like 6 a.m. I had to go pee.
You never know the backstory. You do not know what is going on. But yeah, when you're looking at, there's people, there's full-time worker, nurses, teacher, warehouse workers, Amazon drivers, many making $45,000 to $70,000 and still cannot afford rent because it is so expensive. People have been priced out. One medical bill, one rent increase, one layoff, one car repair. And it is not just that these working people are. I've seen other people that are seniors that are living in their cars. And this is crazy because Social Security pays anywhere from $1,900 a month to I think a few thousand more. I think it's like 27 or something like it. And then you got to pay rent for $2,100. How are you gonna do that if you live and have a fixed income? It's just not feasible, so you can't do it. And this is why rent is truly impossible. And this is some of the problem. It is this institutional landlords who own the rental market. BlackRock and all these Wall Street giants that buy it up, they see big dollar signs and then they price them out. And they're raising rent every year, 8 to 12%. They outbid families 30-1. And those people on Wall Street and BlackRock, they don't care if the house sits empty for a year. That's okay because next year the house went up in value. And so they're like, hey, we still made money on that, so we don't even need the cash flow. And the CPI of inflation is 3.2, but shelter inflation was 5.8%. Rent growth was 7 to 9% in some cities. Insurance and utilities are up 20 to 30%. And wages haven't kept up since 1979. You can go verify this, and they're saying that real wages flat, rent is up 160%, home prices up 290%, car prices up 40% in 3 years, health insurance is up 200%. So you're seeing these numbers, and then it's like, man, I just can't do it. And so let me show you another video of a bunch of stitched clips from TikTok where they're saying that I can't afford that. And what's going on? I'm just living in my car.
Do y'all see how many young people are living in their cars?
Yes, I did see all these people living in their cars. And back in 2019, the statistics showed that 140,000 people were living in their car. But I assume now it's probably double.
I've been living in my car for over 70 days now, and I'm in a pickle. I ran out of food. I don't have any gas, so I'm kind of stranded in a parking lot. I've been here for around 4 days now, and I'm a little stressed, but I'm still making it work somehow. I'm trying everything in my character to just not go on the side of the road and beg for money.
And because of the out of control inflation that we're having in our country right now and rent prices being over $1,500 a month, I have been outpriced at the rental market and I live here in my car full time.
Hey, I'm homeless. I live in my car.
I've lived in my car for 11.5 months, and today is the day that my car broke down.
Okay, so I am homeless. So let's talk about how I lived in my car for 6 months.
So you saw the video, people are like, this is my story. This is why I live in my car. And then to top it all off, and now my car broke down and I have no food. And these are true stories. This is true America. This isn't the 8% that are that this economy is working for my poll from the other day. No, this is true America, where you're one crisis away from living in your car, and then hopefully you have your car paid off. Or then if you haven't paid off that car and you're like, you know what, my car might get repoed while I'm actually living in it, so your house might get pulled away by the tow truck. This is absolutely crazy. And so I've asked you guys, would you buy a car today if it broke down? 63 said no, I'd fix the one I got. But you gotta have the money. If you don't have the money to fix it, then all of a sudden, then you're just sitting in a pile of metal. And people can't afford the car and they can't afford rent. Then after that, you have no shelter and you're gonna be on the street, and it is absolutely brutal. And this is just what's going on. Renters are maxed out, credit cards sitting at record highs, 30-day delinquencies jumping fastest since '08. Buy now, pay later is 20 billion over the holiday weekend. 40% late on payments. Defaults are rising. And some of this stuff is just crazy when you're thinking about living in a car. And so I've never lived in a car, but when I lived in Florida and I moved out to California, I was in my car for a week because I didn't have the money to stay in hotels. And so basically I was just driving from one coast to another with a trailer, and I'm gonna see if I can find some pictures, but I actually lived in my car for a week. It's not a long time, but man, it is cramped and it was cold. It was in winter time because I moved out. I think I left Florida in December, and so I moved to California back then, and it was just cold. It was snowing, and yeah, it was absolutely crazy. And I know how people do it because they have to, but man, yeah, it's crazy. And here we go. The evictions are rising. Evictions are up 22%. In the Sunbelt cities, it's 40 to 70% above the normal eviction rate. So you're seeing it. And shelter capacity, even here in Las Vegas, is full. Overflow parking lots, no space for working families. And this is and at this pace, 2026 won't be any different. And now we're going to go into a little darker topic and say this is how you or I could end up in it. Your car breaks down, you have a $2,500 emergency repair, your boss cuts hours, landlord raises rents, insurance goes up, your grocery spikes, job freezes, you can't get a job in your market, and all of a sudden you are in trouble. And this is what I always tell people: don't look at others and be like, haha, because Schadenfreude is not good. And this is absolutely bananas when it comes to living in your car, and people have to do it because there's just no other option. And this is why I always say you need to put money away for your emergency fund. And as hard as it might sound, you have to do it. You gotta figure out, how can I go from right here to right here? So if I'm gonna go down from right over here where I have an apartment, where I have everything, and here's the car living, that I don't do that, or vice versa, when you're in a car and you save up. So if the repairs or something else doesn't go, so you don't lose that. So you don't have to lose your lifestyle. And this is the American disease, the let me make more money, let me get a nicer car. Ooh, I make more money now. Let me go and upgrade this, or let me go do that. And all of a sudden, you're seeing that it's not the best to always upgrade. Sometimes it's better to just stack the money away and keep the same lifestyle as you had. And this is what I'm telling so many of my viewers. Just because you got a pay raise in 2026 and 2025, it is not the time to go out and upgrade your lifestyle. It is just stay put, invest, and make sure that you have a nice little cushion. Because if they do decide to cut you, then you have something to sit on, to use up, so you're not stressed out and be like, man, if I can't make my next month's rent payment, I'm gonna be completely cooked. And I don't want that to happen to you. So you have to um put an emergency fund away. But then again, people are like, oh my gosh, I'm just gonna buy new jet skis and make more money now. I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna get a new job in January, and I'm gonna do all that. Those are all good, but you gotta have a nice little cushion. Once you have that cushion, you can go upgrade your car, upgrade your jet skis or whatever you want to do. But a lot of my viewers, they're like, what are you even talking about with jet skis? Nobody's buying jet skis. And I feel you, but there's still 8% of people that think this is going in the right direction. And so, yeah, these are the struggles that the common America people are facing. So when you're watching this from Europe and you're like, whoa, this is absolutely brutal. Yeah, it is. In the US, you can really make it, but you can also fall really, really deep. And that is why it's so dangerous. And when I talk about on my channel, like, yo, you can become from a dishwasher to a CEO, and you can do that, but the chances is way more likely for you to actually not do it. In order for you to become that dishwasher CEO story, you got to grind, you got to be lucky, you got to network, you got to work on your skills. And then there's a lot of people that will not make it. There are more people failing than they're going to make it. But if you're going to make it, it's got to require a whole bunch of hard work, sweat, and tears. And a lot of people are like, I don't want to do that. And so they're just kind of getting into grinds, they get comfortable, and all of a sudden, 10, 15 years go by, and then they're looking around, get a midlife crisis going on, and saying like, whoa, now I'm in my 40s. What am I doing? I woke up and now I'm 40 and I'm still in my same job that I actually hate. I'm still doing the same thing over and over. And so this is why you need a plan. You need to find something you really like doing, that you enjoy doing, that brings in good money, transition from a job to a career, and then you can make some good money. And yeah, this is Las Vegas at almost sunset. This was park. I was at the park hanging out today, walking. But yeah, life can throw you curveballs. And so don't tell other people, ha ha ha, because you never know if you're going to be on the other end, on the receiving end. So the only way how you can not have that happen to you is save that emergency fund. Do that. I know I sound like a broken record, but Dave Ramsey always says it. And I'm telling you, Dave Ramsey during great times looks like an idiot. But now, all of a sudden, the economy's in the downer. All of a sudden, he sounds like the smartest guy in the room because he's been preaching it. So let me know what you guys think about all this. And you know people that live in your car, let me know in the comments below. And I'll see you guys in the next one.